All right, good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this match day encounter between Jaguar Football Club and Supreme Kings Football Academy. Of course, the first fixture involving Jaguar and Supreme Kings, of which we saw Supreme at home. Well, of course, they walloped Jaguar by 6 goals to nothing, and I'm sure Jaguar will be. Of course, they were disappointed, and they will be looking at using this opportunity in order to get back into this one. I guess Supreme Kings, just to go through the team list, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I'm the sports pastor. They call me El Chijo, and I will be your lead commentator for this NYLC League game between Jaguar and Supreme Kings. Of course, going through the team list, we have 18 is Sunday in goal for Jaguar. We have jersey number 8 Enyimba Moses. We have jersey number 28 Gabriel Ekene. JC number 34 Julius Innocent. JC number 38 OK Emmanuel. JC number 5 Hassan Haruna. And of course we have JC number 14 John Emmanuel. Donning the JC number 3 is Nelson Ekilem Dilichuku. Of course, we have donning the jersey number 5 Bernard, and donning the jersey number 36 we have Chibueze James, and Xavier Matthew is donning the jersey number 19. This is the starting SI for Jaguar Football Club. Of course, on the substitute bench we have the captain of the side. Well, he's not the one wearing the captain armband as he stands, but he's starting from the bench. The man donning the jersey number 4 Ekunife Michael. Jersey number 2 Alison Franklin. Jersey number 7 Okechukwu Success. Of course, 30 Madoka. Jersey number 15 Eze Patrick. Jersey number 41 Ibrahim Mohammed. Jersey number 25 Habilu Aliu. Jersey number 9 Anyao Chisu. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, going to Supreme Kings, we are looking at the lineup for Supreme Kings. The goalkeeper, jersey number 31 Kintus Kelechi. Jersey number 6 Michael Precious. Jersey number 5 Destiny Chinedu. Jersey number 3 Sabaki Nomishu. Jersey number 25 AK Kingsley. Jersey number 4 Chinenye. Of course, jersey number 16 Wogu Victor. Jersey number 10 Ohamesi Anthony. Jersey number 17 Atuanya Divine. Jersey number 22 Ikechukwu Emmanuel. Jersey number 71 is Johnson. So for Supreme Kings, and of course on the substitute bench we have jersey number 1 Michael Okoronkwo. Jersey number 2 Simon Emmanuel. Jersey number 12 Chisum Carlo. Jersey number 18 Prince Oyim. Jersey number 20 Ianacho Ghost Time. Jersey number 21 Young Elijah. Jersey number 42 Okoro Mesoma. Jersey number 48 Duye Frank. Of course, the game is about to kick off, and we see the referee dishing out instructions to the man wearing the captain's jersey for Jaguar, Hassan Haruna, and of course the man donning the jersey number 6 for Supreme, talking about Michael Precious. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just like I told you, I am the sports pastor Emmanuel Joseph El Chijo, and I have my color commentator with me, Betel Carlo. Well, Betel, we saw Jaguar in the first game losing by 6 goals to nothing. This time, I'm sure it will be a means of redemption for them.
Well, they'll try to find redemption for themselves. They've lost all games in this tournament so far, but the last time they played against Supreme Kings, they lost 6 goals to nothing, and this one will be a game that they'll be looking forward to get something out of this game. They will definitely not want this to happen twice, and they will work so hard. And for Supreme Kings, they would like to keep their place on top of the table. They currently have 14 points, and a victory here will give them 17 points, and they have a very good team, and they're in a very good position to win this game as well. But Jaguar come in with renewed vigor, having despite they lost the last time, they did indeed put up a good performance. But today they will try all they can to make sure that even if they lose, they might keep it respectable, and they can also dare to dream to get their first victory in this tournament, in this competition against the Supreme Kings.
Well, of course, it is said that thunder doesn't strike a place twice, and that might be metaphorical in this case because Jaguar have already lost scandalously to Supreme Kings, and they will be looking at maybe making a humongous statement to say that was a blip or a dip in form. However it is, as far as this game is concerned, we are up for the best of football artistry from the young sides who are doing very well from themselves. Of course, Supreme Kings posing for a picture, and Jaguar has already gone towards their own half. They are wearing white shirts, or white polo as the case may be, on black shorts with orange socks to match, and for Supreme Kings, red top on black shorts with black socks to match. And Supreme are playing from left to right from my position, and Jaguar from right to left, and we expect to see both teams get into their strides once the game kicks off. Of course, the central referee inspecting the teams. Of course, fans of Jaguar will be hoping that the game is not as intimidating as it was last time out. The center referee dishing out instructions to his AR1, trying to ensure that everything is under control, even as we are set to kickstart the hostilities right here at the Elephant Park, the Enyimba International Stadium in Aba, Abia State, Nigeria. This is a game involving Supreme Kings and Jaguar Football Club. In the right way, Jaguar Football Club, because of course they are at home against Supreme Kings, and we are on the way. Jaguar takes the kickoff. Well, will be contested right there between the Supreme Kings player and Jaguar. Crossing to the box. Well, he slipped, he couldn't connect to that shoes, but then it is straight to the hand of Kintu Skelechi. Well, in the first 1 minute, Jaguar coming for Julius Innocent rises higher to put that one out for a throw, and Supreme Kings takes the throw, but of course he couldn't get to Atwaya Divine. That throw from Julius. Now Jaguar in their own half, jersey number 8, Ime Moses. Well, they're trying to pass around. Mystery chance here, tries to hold that one back, but then there's a lot of sleeping left, right, and center. Well, it is only comes out a chance for Supreme Kings, but of course, it is Sunday. It shows that it comes out quickly enough to hold it, but better you saw that chance. A lot of sleeps right there in the pitch. What is really happening? That would have been a highlight that would have resulted in a goal.
That would have been the goal in this encounter, but you also have to give credit to the goalkeeper who responded quite early to get that ball and got himself a kick in the process. And this is what we were talking about. Jaguar must be able to keep it tight at the back. They've conceded a lot of goals, and making this mistake early in the game does not spell good for the side. They must regroup and make sure that they do not make such mistakes at the back, because Supreme Kings are a very ruthless side. If you make such mistakes at the back, they come back to hurt you.
Well, of course, talking about coming back to haunt you, we've seen that happen to Jaguar a lot of times in this competition. Throwing to Jaguar now, Innocent. Well, was looking for Kichuku success, but that didn't work out. Innocent passes it straight into the middle. Jersey number 36, Chibueze. Hard down, and of course it's a free kick in favor of Jaguar in a choice position. Of course, Innocent, dear Nelson, the captain of the day, Hassan Haruna, who is walking away from that one, and John Emmanuel with the ball as the referee goes to attend to the Supreme Kings player who is down on the top but is up right now and is being aided to come help his team at least in the defensive mix-up. John Emmanuel places the ball. The referee orders for the 10 yards. Emmanuel. I don't know what will be going through his mind. Maybe shooting direct or goal, or maybe playing it into the box. However, I'm sure that you'll be looking at doing something that will help his team in this game. Referee blows. Decides to go direct. He's the wall, but of course it's out for a corner in favor of Jaguar. I'm not sure. Are you really impressed with that kick from John Emmanuel?
Well, I expected him to go long, and he really got that kick. The goalkeeper might have saved that ball, but then it came off the wall. And I'm really impressed with how Jaguar has started in this game. They've taken the battle to Supreme Kings, and we'll wait to see what they do with their surge of attacks so far.
Well, so far that surge of attack has been truncated. Supreme Kings are coming forward, but it's out for a throw-in in favor of Jaguar. Well, Jaguar, we've always known that they start like a house on fire in all the games they've played. But you just ask, where do they capitulate? Where do they lose this team? Well, maybe psychologically they might be down in this one because they conceded 6 to this same team. But they have another opportunity at making a huge statement. Quintus, well, decides to go long. Some battle right there. Quintus is down. But of course, the ball is still in play. Of course, Sabaki, no issue, where he's out for a throw. And the referee calls the players. Xavier Matthew has been won by the referee. No issue, Sabaki to take the free kick for Supreme Kings. Decides to go back looking for Destiny. Destiny straight to the captain Michael. Launches it forward. Of course, at Divine. Straight to the box. He shoots and it's a goal in favor of Supreme Kings. Again and again, first clear chance, or maybe the second, you will say. And then they've tucked it into the back of the post, and that goal is coming from Ikechukwu Emmanuel. Well, better Jaguar, 1 minute of lethargic defense, and then they are trailing. Seems like the goal post, or rather the goal heavens, have been opened again.
And that is what we're talking about. Jaguar leaving those spaces at the back. They just know in all their games they want to keep this high line. They want to make sure that they keep the other side offside. But then most times it doesn't work. They've considered goals from this in this competition, and it is surprising that up to this moment they've not really worked on that. Look at how Supreme Kings broke that high line from them and got that goal. Defensive mistake again from Jaguar, and you also have to give credit to Supreme Kings for that blistering attack. They had to convert immediately. They had that chance, and just like you said, it's possible that they might have opened the floodgates again. Last time it ended 6-0 in favor of Supreme Kings, and they look on course to be able to score many more goals.
They are a team that are ferocious. Of course, Jaguars' defense has been quite disappointing, especially in their defensive duties. We've seen Supreme Kings go through them like hot knife through butter. Well, the player is down right there on the top for Supreme. Atoya Divine. Free kick in favor of Supreme in their own half. And of course, looking back at that one, you ask yourself, what were the central defenders of Jaguar doing? How did Supreme Kings run down that left channel? And of course, Hamisi Anthony playing the ball to Ikechukwu Emmanuel, who finally converted. A free kick to Jaguar, and it will be Moses trying to go forward. Supreme with the ball now, chance to turn defense into attack. They are passing around in their own half. Of course, Sabaki to Nomishu. And of course, Chineye, Supreme on their set Desi. Plunges it to the left-hand channel. Trying to run that left-hand channel. Of course, they've gotten goes from that angle. Changes to the right, looking for Eze Johnson, but Julius was on hand to nip the attack in the board. But then Supreme still within the ball. Ikechukwu Emmanuel puts his head to that. Victor Wogu. Shot! Beautiful shot there from the man done in the jersey number 25, AK Kingsley. Where Jaguar restarts from the back. Disposal is right there. We're looking for Emmanuel, but it didn't work out. The man Chineye. But of course, a savior trying to rush down, but Kintus gathers that one expertly. And of course, he throws to Destiny. Who has savior on his trail, but Destiny is still with the ball and he's out for a throw in favor of Supreme. Destiny to Nomishu. Of course, the captain Michael Precious to Nomishu. Destiny rather. Destiny were trying to go past a savior Matthew, but he got his leg trapped and the referee has told him this is the final warning. Better Savior Matthew has to be very careful because this is the second warning he's getting from the referee. Remember that first incident, he had a clash with Kintus Kelechi, and this time again he decided to take one for the team in ensuring that the man Divine doesn't have a few days in order to make that pass.
Well, he has to be very careful now because he's gotten warnings from the referee 2 times, and one thing that Jaguar would not want is to see their players get into the referee's books for the wrong reasons. They already 1 goal down, and I'm sure they wouldn't want to get another. They wouldn't want to concede another one by keeping it clean at the back. Even as we saw that attack from Supreme Kings, that was almost a goal. Fine intervention there by the referee and by the goalkeeper there. So they should try to keep it clean at the back, despite the fact that they are going out in search of a goal. They are pouring forward. They need to keep it clean at the back, and also the tensions are flying high from this Jaguar side. But they should do all they can to make sure that they do not get at least a red card in this encounter.
But of course, you talked about the action initially where we saw the defense of Jaguar splitted in half, save for the timely intervention of the goalkeeper Tini Sunday. They would have been maybe trailing by 2-0 now. But Supreme Kings, the Ikechukwu Emmanuel plunging forward from the right-hand channel. Just the goalkeeper to beat Etini with another beautiful save on a Monday afternoon. Well, better, we really need to talk about the defense of Jaguar. Over and over, we've seen that it is the goalkeeper that has kept them safe in this game. Less they would have been down by 3, and it is 12 minutes of action. Waves and waves of attack from Supreme Kings towards the channel of Jaguar FC. What do the defense need to do? Because they seem to be disoriented.
They need to be more organized and protect their goalkeeper. He's made 3 interventions in the last 5 minutes to keep his side in the game. Etini Sunday coming back into this encounter. He didn't start the last game, and it has always been Victor Okoye who has been starting, and he has gotten the starting shot today, and he's proving why the coaches gave him that opportunity to start today. He's been the difference for Jaguar, despite the fact that they are trailing by 1-0. He's been the difference. He has come out to save his side, and you don't need to put your goalkeeper under such pressure. It is good, yes, they are going in search of an equalizer, but then they do not need to leave those spaces at the back. It doesn't spell well for them, because if they leave those spaces at the back, Etini Sunday will not continue to save them. Once or twice, it might just get into the net and it will become disastrous for them again. So the coaches will have to talk to the defenders. And for me, I've also talked about how the coaches of Jaguar tend to change. They tend to change players from their normal positions. The last time we saw Equidife Michael playing centre back, and today we are seeing Haruna, who has been one of the best or one of their best or standard players in defense, playing in central midfield. So the coaches will have to find players who really play in their positions in order to field them where they have the best strength, because if they do not, if they continue to change players like this, we may just see that that they may not get anything out of games. And this happens in defense, and we've seen them concede 6 the last time. They are trailing by 1-0. The coaches will have to work on that.
We can expertly say at least in 14 minutes that Jaguar over 2 legs have conceded 8 against the same opposition, Supreme Kings Football Academy. Well, of course, Etini Sunday, after that save, is back up on his feet after being attended to by the medics. Throw into Supreme Kings. Tries to take it long. Well, of course, the attack is being cooled as it stands because Jaguar has a free kick in their own favor. Etini Sunday orders his boys to go forward as he decides to take the kick. Well, that won't be happening again as Emil Moses takes that kick. Divine trying to break free, but the Jaguar player is proving to be stubborn, and of course is a throw-in in favor of Jaguar. Jaguar seems to be playing a 4-3-2-1 formation from my observation. Jaguar on the ascendancy in the right hand channel, trying to wriggle his way through where he has slipped and he has fallen. He has risen like a righteous man. They will fall 7 times and they will rise again, just like he rose and lost the ball. Well, it is to the favor of Supreme Kings, who so far so good based on possession have been reigning supreme as far as this game is concerned. Well, the captain, Michael, straight to the goalkeeper, Quintus. Of course, to Destiny, who is running down the center channel. Well, back to Michael. And from there, it gets to Is Johnson, running down the right channel with a beautiful... Well, Eze Johnson was expertly brought down by the young man Julius Innocent, who went with his 2 legs straight for the ball and is out for a corner kick. Well, that was way dangerous because in all that saying, it can also be given as a penalty better. He did that just right inside the box. That can be pretty problematic for referees who don't take nonsense.
Well, that could be really problematic, but you have to give credit to Julius Innocent, expertly done there, and he made sure that he got the ball first before getting. He got the ball first, and the referee saw that and said, "No, not under my watch. This is not going to be a penalty." But sometimes it could just be a penalty. There's no VAR here, but then the referee made the decision based on what he saw first, and Jaguar will have to breathe a sigh of relief, but they have to defend this one well to make sure that they do not concede again.
Well, of course, corner kick to Supreme Kings, and the Spartans of 18 Sunday ensured that didn't, of course, trouble them. Goal kick to Jaguar. Whoa! Miscue chance. Emmanuel to Joseph. A shot. 18 again to the save. He has saved his Jaguar team more than the economy of the country. 18 is Sunday doing a yeoman's job on a Monday. Oh my goodness. Better you saw that. Decided to go from the back. That defender well miscued that chance. And of course, well, I don't know what your observation was about that. Of course, we've talked about teams deciding to play for the back, and they have to be confident. They have to be sure of where the ball is going to. We saw that happen, and that would have been the second to the disappointment of Jaguar. But then, Etienne Sunday, again and again, he has proven so far so good, at least in the first 90 minutes of this game, to be my man of the match.
Definitely, he's been brilliant. He's covered himself in glory. Etienne Sunday, and that is what you get when you give players the chance. He's gotten the chance, and then he's proven he's proven why he's the preferred choice of the coach in today's encounter over Victor Gokoye, and he's done so well for his side. We also have to talk about the defenders. They have to make sure that they cover him, because he cannot continue to make these saves, and at some point he'll get tired.
Well, of course, another surge there by Antonio Hamesi from the pass of the man wearing the jersey number 71 is a Johnson. Well, it is a free kick, and of course, Hamesi was caught offside. Free kick to Jaguar. Just like my color commentator said, the defense have to be up and about, because 18 cannot always be put under that kind of pressure. Something might have to give way as they're coming forward now, but of course, no issue. Michael Precious, a contention of heads right there. Of course, the captain, Hassan Haruna, trying to run down the left-hand channel, still with the ball, trying to wriggle his way out. Of course, slips here and there. They are in the valley of the Elephant Park. Where slips are bound to happen. Jaguar still with the ball, trying to get into shape. Jaguar in the half of Supreme, plunging forward, trying to get the arithmetic as simple as possible dispossessed right there. And of course, is the ability, or rather is the time again for Supreme to turn defense into attack. That's gone off a throw in favor of Supreme Kings. Well, better, we've talked about Jaguar not getting their chances, or rather getting their chances but not converting them in the final third. You see that they do very well to transition from defense to midfield, but in the attack, it's as if they lose out on steam, and then all those attacks just goes to waste.
Well, for them first, they must get into the vital positions in this game, and at least now they've not really gotten into the final positions, and they're doing. But they've been trying. They've been working so hard to get into the final third, but then they've not been able to have a shot on target. They must be able to have a shot on target. You also have to give credit to Precious Michael, the captain of Supreme Kings, and Wilfred Destiny, both of them centre backs. They've been doing and so well. Also have to look at what Harrison Nimshu has been doing at right back for Supreme Kings. They've done so well to protect their backline, and this is what you get once your backline is protected. The goalkeeper can heave a sigh of relief and of course breathe. And Supreme Kings have done that so well in protecting their goalkeeper, and that is why the Jaguar themselves have not been able to register a shot on target. But if they must do that, they must be organized at the front and see what they can do.
And of course, Supreme Kings are plunging forward again. Initially, we saw a very beautiful save from Imam Moses. Well, a lot of beautiful blocks right here. Of course, Supreme coming forward again. Is it the second stretch play? Beautiful save again from Imam Moses. In that central defense, he has stood like the Rock of Gibraltar. Etienne Sunday also coming into question and ensuring that he gathers his place very well. This is amazing. Better, they might be trailing, but defensively, they seem to have woken up after conceding that goal. Jaguar FC.
That was a fine defensive job done there. Jaguar coming back, and that fine defender coming to the rescue of his side. Before that, we also saw another intervention by Julius Innocent, and that is what we talk about. You might be trailing, you have to put in the hard work so hard, and it's difficult for them as well because of the way Supreme Kings play with fine attacking football, and that would have been another goal as we saw that fine header from Wilfred Destiny. They must continue to protect themselves at the back, and also see if they can try so hard to get a goal in this encounter, because an equalizer could well change the complexion of this game, and who says would not be excited to see an equalizer as we wait as Jaguar continue to attack.
Well, that can only be possible if Jaguar continues in their wave of attack, and of course ensures that they get their chances right. Of course, we saw that beautiful header from the captain of Supreme Kings, Michael Precious. Well, just missed the near post just by whiskers. Beautiful chance to Julius Innocent, who is running down the left-hand channel. Can he hold the ball? Of course he does. Well, tries to go through that place, and he's out for a corner in favor of Jaguar. Beautiful intent right there from the young man Julius Innocent. Saw a chance, decided to take it with both hands, and maybe we can say that they've been rewarded with a corner. Question is, can they be able to tuck it into the goalpost? Can spot about 8 players of Jaguar in a bus. Julius takes it, but then to no one in particular, but still within range. A weak shot from that man donning the jersey number 35, Bernard. Imomo sees, and of course straight into the hands of Quintus Kelechi. Imomo sees, does well to shut down that attack before it troubles his team. Innocent. Xavier Matthew tries to put his lamb, but of course was dispossessed. Clash of heads, Xavier Matthew. Can you do that? Of course. Hassan Haruna. Well, free kick to Supreme Kings. Well, 25 minutes on the clock. Jaguar nil, Supreme 1. Quintus Kelechi standing, and of course a player of Jaguar is down there on the turf, and the referee has beckoned to the medics. You can see players going for water break. And of course the sun is quite hot, better. Even when I was a player, I never liked playing under this hot sun.
Well, I don't know when you were a player, but I must say that playing in the sun is difficult, and at this moment you have to catch your breath, and it's good that the players have come out to at least drink water and refuel again in order for them to go back. We've seen 26 minutes in this game, for just about 19 more minutes before the end of this encounter, and also we've been thrilled with beautiful football from both sides. Supreme Kings started well, firing from all cylinders, trying to get a goal. They got the goal and continued in search of another goal. But then that goal has somewhat reinvigorated Jaguar, who has played so well at least in the last 10 minutes. They've been knocking on the door trying to see if they can get a goal, but then they've met stiff resistance from Supreme Kings, especially from their centre backs, Wilfred Destiny and Precious Michael, who are doing so well today in order to make sure that they cut off any attack from Jaguar. And I'm also impressed with Hassan Haruna, who was moved away from the centre back position for Jaguar and now playing in midfield. He's been one of their standout players in midfield today, and perhaps after all of these tests, the Jaguar team could as well find where each player suits and then begin to use each player in that position. And you also have to give credit to Etini Sunday, the goalkeeper of Jaguar, who has been majestic today. It would have been more, because the last time when they played against the Supreme Kings in the last week, they conceded 4 goals in 40 minutes, and today they've kept it respectable. 1 goal within 30 minutes, and they are fighting so hard as well to make sure that they come back into this game. If we see an equalizer, it could just be that tonic that they have been waiting for to get themselves back into this game. And let's not also forget that they are still looking for their first victory in the tournament, and it's not looking easy for them. They fought so hard, and even if they lose this game, they will go back home knowing that they put in a good fight. But then, who says the game is over? The game is still up, and we could just see a revival from Jaguar FC.
Revival is what we pray for. Of course, it's still a long walk to freedom as far as Jaguar is concerned. A lot of things to do in order to ensure that they get back into shape, and of course, ensuring that they get their chances right and convert. However, ladies and gentlemen, we are back from that water break into Kelechi. Takes it long, Imam Moses, Julius Innocent. Well, couldn't put that one out right. It's a battle of some sort between Julius and Destiny Chinedu. I beg your pardon, Bernard and Chinedu. Back to Kintus Kelechi, Chinedu. To Michael. We're looking for Kingsley. Finds him. Back to Kintus. Kintus to Destiny Chinedu. Where Sabaki is urging on, but then he decides to go to Eze Johnson. Eze Johnson dispossessed right there, but then they still have the ball. Chineye, Victor, Anthony, Victor. Of course, Jaguar wins straight. Well, goes to the left-hand channel. The man brought it in, and Ikechukwu Emmanuel is on the pro. 18 is on it to be 18. He gathers it expertly. That is beautiful again and again. He has saved this Jaguar team. 3 beautiful saves. And it's disappointing that is coming from the man who has gotten a goal already. Ikechukwu Emmanuel. Well, we saw him in the last game get a hat-trick. But better so far so good. It's been 18 in Sunday, ensuring that he stops those attacks. Even when our hope was lost. 18 in Sunday says, don't worry, I'm here. I am your savior, and I am the hope. The renewed hope agenda is alive in 18 in Sunday.
Well, that is what you expect from your goalkeeper, to save you when it matters most. And 18 Sunday is that player. He's risen to the occasion and is doing so well for his side. And you see the appreciation from the boys saying thank you so much for saving us this couple of times. And also they'll have to raise their game to make sure that 18 is not overly exposed as he has been. He has saved he has saved them 4 times in this encounter, and I'm sure they will continue to do everything possible to make sure that they will continue to protect him at the back, because if they do not, maybe just one of these moments he could just
and of course through this 18 Sunday has been phenomenal in this game, at least for Jaguar. Ladies and gentlemen, 31 minutes of action. Supreme 1, Jaguar 0. The brilliance of 18 Sunday have kept this scoreline respectable. Throw in, foul throw from Julius. Well, Destiny. Throw in to Supreme, Destiny to take that one. Looking for Eze Johnson, but of course Julius Innocent stops that. Bernard trying to wriggle his way out, but then Imam Moses comes in for a tackle and he wins that, and he's a throw in to Jaguar. No issue to Johnson. Free kick to Supreme. No issue. Well, leaves that one for Anthony. Anthony decides to go back to his goalkeeper, Quintus. Xavier Matthew trying to brush you. Michael. Well, outwits his attacker right there, and it's a throw in favor of Supreme. Well, better later we'll talk about Jaguar highline offside trap. So far so good. We've not seen them do it here, and they've copped a lot of times. And Ikechukwu, yeah, no. That's Atoya. Short. No way from there. Eze Johnson. Well, of course, it's a free kick to Jaguar. Well, better let's talk about Jaguar's offside trap. We've seen it save them a lot of.
It's still there. Maybe the coaches have tried to change their orientation from them, but they still have something for that offside trap, and they must continue to watch it. If not, it might just come back to haunt them.
Of course, Julius Innocent tried to square the ball in. Hassan Haruna in the midfield, captain for Jaguar, looking for Julius Innocent, but he was way too far to get the ball. And at this point, Anthony brought down there, and is a free kick in favor of Supreme. The referee urges Jaguar to be calm. Of course, Nelson Ekelendinichuku apologizes to Anthony. They shake hands, and Nomishu takes the kick to Quintus. Michael decides to go down the right channel looking for Eke Kingsley. He finds him. Eke Kingsley looking for Divine. Divine still trying to wriggle his way out of that, and he's out. Divine still with the ball. He finally wriggles his way out, rushing down that right hand channel. My God, makes that man to sit down in green pastures. Divine still with the ball where he's dispossessed right there. Oh my God, beautifully done to wriggle his way out of danger. Jaguar seems to be on the ascendance as much as the ball is still in their own half. Well, we are seeing the best of football artistry right here at the Elephant Park. Divine, dispossessed again. No way, no way. You are passing here. That's what the Jaguar defense is telling Divine. Aggression building, straight to Savior Matthew. Can you get that one? Bernard shoots. Oh my goodness, misses by the whiskers. Beautiful chance, beautiful opportunity. That would have been it better, but of course it slides away, and it is to the disappointment of the Jaguar team.
Definitely, that was a statement of intent from Jaguar. They've been majestic in the final 15 minutes. In the last 5 minutes, they've been working so hard to make sure that they get a goal in this encounter. And what a shot that was! That would have been the opening goal. That would have been the equalizer for his side. They've been working so hard, and it's just left to be seen. Just left to be seen if they'll get that needed equalizer, and we are waiting for that to happen. The Supreme Kings have been working so hard because they've been so shocked. They intended to score many more goals after that first one in the first half, but then it has not been so, as we've seen 37 minutes in this encounter so far. And if we see that we are waiting for the game to restart, as both sides are still trying to get themselves out of a difficult position.
Well, of course, there seems to be some issue right there. The game is paused as it stands. The game is still paused right here. Of course, the game is few posts right here as we are way to get things back under control. Guys, the game has restarted. All the issues has been sorted out, and Supreme Kings are coming forward again. Right, Kechukwu Emmanuel, well, his flag offside. I can see that burst of energy from him. Emo Moses takes it, looking for Bernard. I beg your pardon, Chibueze. Right, Chibueze with the ball, getting into space, but then couldn't meet his man. It's some sort of an aggression right there between Wogu Victor and the man, Destiny Chinedu. Is out for and of course Bernard Julius is a Johnson in a battle with Emo Moses is out. Throw in from Supreme Kings. Wogu Victor, Anthony Ohamesi. Where Julius Innocence. I can see a red from the ref. Julius is trying to calm the situation down, and of course the referee decides to have mercy on him. His plea for mercy has been answered by the high heavens. Of course, the man donning the jersey number 23 for Supreme Kingsley takes it straight to 18. It's on there. Who buries it out? Beautifully done there. Beautifully done there. Of course, better you saw that. AK Kingsley decides to go forward and save for the brilliance of 18 Sunday. That would have been the second for Supreme.
Well, that would have been the second goal for Supreme Kings. Fine free kick there by AK, and Sunday was just right on hand and at the right place to tip that one over the bar. And it's good that the tempo of this game has been sustained after that short break due to that altercation there on the sidelines. But it's good that the boys are back and the game is living up to expectations as we intended.
Well, of course, corner from Supreme Kings, they didn't do much, and Jaguar trying to turn defense into attack. Jaguar on the ascendancy. Haruna Hassan running down the left hand channel, straight into the balls, but of course Kintus reacts quickest to ensure that it doesn't trouble his team. And it's a battle of some sort between Bernard and Anthony. Of course, the man donning the JC number 14, John Emmanuel, straight to the right hand channel. Precious Destiny and on the right hand channel. Julius Innocent couldn't get his leg to that. Eze Johnson running down the left hand channel, passes. Two players misses it right there. Opportunity to have tucked it in. Ikechukwu Emmanuel and Atuaya Divine misses it. Can we talk about Ikechukwu Emmanuel? He has been getting all the opportunity. In the first game, he got a hat trick in less than 30 minutes. But in this game, it's as if it's not his day. Well, of course, we have been. There will be 3 minutes of additional time. It is 45 minutes on the clock, and there will be 3 minutes of additional time. Let's talk about Ikechukwu Emmanuel and the plethora of chances that he has missed in this game.
I think that there was confusion there. He didn't know if to leave the ball or if to wait for his teammate to tuck that one in with 18 Sunday at their mercy. But you also have to give credits to the winger Johnson Eze. He's been majestic today. He's been doing so well today, running behind the defense of Jaguar, and he's had a fantastic duel with Julius Innocent, the left back of Jaguar. He's beaten him a couple of times, and Julius has stopped him a couple of times. Johnson Eze had a good game last time, which they beat Jaguar 6-0, and now he's having another good game. He's brought in a couple of crosses, which on a normal they should have been tucked into the net, but then we saw that miss from Ikechukwu Emmanuel, who got a hat trick the last time. Some days are not just your day.
Well, of course, 18 Sunday out again to save his team. Bernard, I beg your pardon, Chibueze gives it to Bernard, back to Chibueze, quick one there. Chibueze trying to turn, but of course dispossessed by Sabaki Nomishu. Anthony Sabaki straight to Kintus, decides to go long, looking for Atuaya Divine. AK Kingsley, Atuaya Divine offside, and rightly so. And of course Jaguar can heave a sigh of relief as they have the opportunity to turn defense into attack. Just to let you know that we are in the additional 3 minutes of the first half in this game. Well, slips left, right and center ever since this game started. Victor, free kick to Jaguar, to the credit of Victor Wogu. Anthony looking for Ikechukwu. He dispossesses his man right there. Beautifully done there by Julius Innocent. Puts his leg to it. Another save by the young man Julius Innocent, who is now running down. Bernard couldn't get to that one. And of course, Michael gives it to their goalkeeper, Quintus. Where Julius is down on the top. Where Julius is down there on the top. Of course, we are back. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. The first half has come to a conclusion, and it is Jaguar nil, Supreme 1. Goal scored by Ikechukwu Emmanuel to give the visitors the lead. We'll be back in the second half, and of course, we are hoping for a better game from both teams. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the second half of this encounter involving Jaguar FC and Supreme Kings Football Academy. Of course, it is Jaguar News Supreme 1. The referees with the ball close to the center circle. Of course, both teams are out on the turf, about to take shape. But we saw a very interesting encounter in the first half, and we hope that the second half will be nothing less than what we saw in the first 45 minutes. Of course, guys, we are back for the second half, and the referee is, of course, walking down, and Ikechukwu Emmanuel, the big striker for Supreme Kings, of course, he got the first goal for them, and we are about to see substitution right now. Well, the man doing the jersey number 7, Okechukwu Success, coming in. For the man donning the jersey number 19 for Jaguar, Saviour Matthew. And of course, jersey number 17, jersey number 12, I beg your pardon, Chisum Carlo coming in. And ladies and gentlemen, we are on the way for the second half of this encounter between Jaguar and Supreme Kings, where the visitors lead by a goal to nothing. But we must also make it categorically clear that Jaguar has been exceptional. Most impressive in the afternoon has been the goalkeeper of the home side, Jaguar, 18 Sunday. And of course, the big central defender, Imam Moses, who has been doing a lot of fantastic job right there in the central area of the pitch. Hassan Haruna has been orchestrating things in the midfield for Jaguar, as we see a foul on Julius Innocent. And of course, Jaguar, they have to take that free kick. And of course, straight into, well, beautifully done there to Quintus. Wow, that was a shot of intent from Chibueze James. Jaguar to play, or rather Supreme to play from behind. Quintus to Michael. Destiny gives it to AK. Michael straight in, looking for Eze Johnson. Well, he runs past Julius Innocent. Well, of course, the ball is out for a throw. Well, it's going to be a very serious battle in their left flank between Julius Innocent and Eze Johnson. We've seen it all through the first 45 minutes, and I'm sure it's not going to stop anytime soon. Both players have been at each other's loggerheads. Julius Innocent, well, couldn't expertly guide the cross, and is out for a throw. AK, or rather Ikechukwu. It's a battle of some sorts right there in the half of Jaguar. This possess right there, Hassan Arena couldn't get his leg to that. Beautiful shot from Chinenye, but he couldn't trouble 18 is on the well. But I don't know, so far so good. 2 minutes, or make that 3 minutes of action into the second half, and well, I think that both teams are still trying to get into space, considering the fact that they did exceptionally well in the first half. It was a game of full throttled aggression. In the second half, do you think that any of either sides will lay their foot off the pedal?
It doesn't look likely because for Supreme Kings they've also started well. For Jaguar they've also started well in the second half. I don't expect them to just come into the second half and as all guns blazing. They will need some time to get into their strides, and they are already doing that. For talking about Jaguar, they've started from where they stopped. The momentum is not the same as it was when the game was about to end in the first half, but then it's gradually building. And for Jaguar, we've seen them with a shot in this game in the second half, and we've also seen Supreme Kings with a shot. So just as the game is coming up, we'll be able to see more action in the second half.
Of course, Anthony coming forward, hacked down there by the tall Gabriel Ekene. Well, of course, he goes into the referee books for a yellow card. Gabriel Ekene, yellow card, and of course, Precious Michael is standing behind that one. Precious. Waiting is Sunday, expertly parries that one to a corner. Let's talk about the free kick of the Supreme Kings side. We've seen them about 4 free kicks, and all have been intentional, straight. In fact, it has taken the brilliance of Etienne to ensure that does not enter into the goalpost, and it's a very good one, especially when you know how to convert from dead ball situations.
It's very important for you to know how to convert from these dead ball situations, and they've brought in shots. We saw that save from Etienne Sunday in the first half. We've also seen another one from him in the second half, and that is what you get when you have a very good team. You'll be able to get, if you cannot get goals from open play, you can also get from set pieces, and that is exactly what Supreme Kings have shown, that they have people who can hit the ball well, and that is exactly why some teams have also in some parts of the world, especially the English Premier League, they are now hiring set piece coaches who help them to win through set pieces. We've seen that Arsenal to themselves, they've scored a lot of goals through set pieces. So when you have a team players who can help you with these set pieces, it's a good advantage for your team.
Well, of course, some sort of attack from Supreme, but Jaguar with that one coming from behind. Okechukwu success expertly brings the ball down. Okay, Emmanuel comes to his rescue, gives it to Imam Moses. Imam Moses looking for Julius, but then that didn't work out. He decided to go forward looking for Chibueze. Counter attack from Supreme, and of course Eze Johnson not giving any breathing space there by Hassan Haruna. Corner kick in favor of Supreme Kings. 4 red shirts in the box make that 5 now, and they will be looking at ensuring that they solidify their lead by getting another goal. Well, unfortunately, Precious Michael could not tuck that one in, and Jaguar can heave a sigh of relief. Another opportunity to pro like the White Cats they are. Jaguar. Etienne Sunday. Well, Mo Moses takes the kick. Okechukwu success, couldn't get his head to that one. Free kick in favor of Jaguar. Hassan Haruna, the Trojan horse in the midfield for Jaguar. Julius, I beg your pardon, Chibueze rises highest, but they couldn't connect to anyone in particular. Of course, Chineye trying to rush down, looking for Eze Johnson, but then it's a battle from that left-hand channel. I think they've understood that if you want to cut chances from these Supreme Kings, you just have to ensure that Eze Johnson doesn't run. He was instrumental in them getting 6 in the last game, hat-trick of assists, and of course a goal to his name. And this time around, the Jaguar team seems to have recognized that this guy is the main character, sideline him, and then Supreme wouldn't come to play.
It has also not been easy for them containing Eze Johnson, because he has that speed, and before you know, he has run past his backer. And what the coaches of Jaguar have done is to look at it and say if they can get 2 people chasing him. If he misses one, then somebody doubles down on him, and that is exactly how they've been able to contain him. But still, he's been working so hard to make sure that he gets an assist in this game.
Whoa, we saw that beautiful free kick again, straight to 18 Sunday. The first catch was some sort of a holler, but the second, he was able to wake up and get that one expertly. Anthony. Okay, Emmanuel dashing down to ensure that Ikechukwu Emmanuel is not free, and Ikechukwu's pass to Chisom. Hassan trying to wriggle his way through. Still with the ball. Whoa. Okay, Emmanuel. Chisom slips again. Johnson slips again. Well, of course, calls from the Supreme Quarter to have a penalty, but then the referee says play on. Well, better we'll talk about those slips, because that was also one of the things that we showed that made Jaguar concede the first goal. You know, sleeping in those choice positions can be disastrous for a team. Well, of course, Jaguar coming forward. Julius. Dispossessed right there. Still a battle between Julius. And of course, free kick in favor of Jaguar. Alright, I beg your pardon, Supreme Kings. Eze. Chisom decides to go back. Quintus. Precious with the ball. Straight to the other half. Well, 3 shots on him, and they bundled him down in good measure. Of course, Nelson and John Emmanuel combining to bring down Precious. Free kick to Supreme Kings. AK Kingsley to take that one. To Chisom, who gives it to Ikechukwu, but then of course Etini Sunday was around to ensure that Ikechukwu does not tuck it into the goal line. Okay, Emmanuel. Jersey number 3, Nelson. Hassan. Beautiful pass there. Chibeze in the box. Hack down there. Referee says play on. Hassan, dispossessed right there. Anthony plunging forward. 2-3 men to beat. He decides to go back looking for AK Kingsley, but then the ball is out and substitution. Jersey number 25, Abilia Liu and Alison Franklin standing on the sidelines. A man is down there on the top, of course, Chibueze James. Nine minutes of action in this game. Of course, substitutions are about to be effected now. JC number 35 Bernard off for Alison Franklin, and of course Imam Moses surprisingly off for the man donning the JC number 25 Habilu Aliyu. Let's talk about the game of Imam Moses. He has been exceptional, of course, reminiscent of what we used to see Nuruddin Mohammed do for Jaguar FC.
Well, it's his first game for it's his first game in this tournament, and he's covered himself in glory. Had a very good game and did well in order to cut off those attacks from Supreme Kings. And you could see the way he was welcomed when he came out of the pitch. His teammates are saying, "Thank you so much. You did a very good job," and I hope he continues to grow as Jaguar continues to progress in the tournament. And it is a very good change from the coaches. At least Imam Moses has tried. He needs to sit out for someone else to try to. And then they brought in another good midfielder, talking about Alison Franklin to help Haruna in midfield, and this is a good one from the coaches. We'll wait to see how this substitution will improve the fortunes of Jaguar FC.
Well, of course, a man is down on the top there for Jaguar, and it was a tackle involving Destiny. And Chibueze. I beg your pardon, Destiny and John Emmanuel doing the jersey number 14. Hassan Haruna to OK Emmanuel. OK Emmanuel. OK Emmanuel, well, of course, was dispossessed right there. AK Kingsley coming forward. Well, of course, 18 is Sunday. Comes out to nip the attack in the board. Hassan. Well, seems he has gone back to the defensive position better. Maybe there's some sort of a change. Habilu seems to have taken the defensive midfield role from Hassan. Well, we saw that in the first half, talking about Hassan playing in the central defense, and of course we might agree on the point that he didn't really flourish, owing to the fact that he is a very good midfielder. But do you expect him to put in a good shift this time around, Hassan Haruna?
Well, Hassan Haruna, he's naturally a centre back, has been doing so well for Jaguar FC as in the centre back position. But then with the introduction of Imam Moses to the centre back position, he was moved to the midfield, where I think he did indeed put in a good shift, and now he's back to his natural position as a centre back, where he controls play at centre back position. But from whatever place he's playing, he has shown that he's a quality player, and it shows in his game for Hassan Haruna.
Of course, I catch you, Emmanuel. I beg your pardon, Chisom Carlo. Beautiful turn, beautiful shot, but of course, 18 is Sunday. Okay, Emmanuel. Okay, Emmanuel. Of course, a man donning the jersey number 3, Nelson, has missed the ball a couple of times when he has been in good position. Julius fighting his way through with Eze Johnson. Number 4, Chineye. But of course, another change to be effected right here for Supreme Kings Prince Oyim. Going forward, Okechukwu success brings it back. Another opportunity. John Emmanuel slips again. The righteous who fall 7 times shall rise again. Anthony offside to the relief of Jaguar FC. Of course, the man done in the jersey number 16, Wogu Victor of 4, Prince Oyim. Kintos gathers that one. AK Kingsley trying to run down the left hand channel. Anthony Ahamesi. We're of course looking for Prince. Where some sort of a miscommunication there, and it is to the favor of Jaguar. Hassan Haruna. Okay, Emmanuel. Gabriel John breaks the attack right there. Because the man jersey number 20, jersey number 25, Abili Aliyu Ikechukwu, of course, the defense on hand. Supreme Sabaki decides to go back looking for Chisum. Michael Precious, AK, they are circulating the ball around Anthony. AK trying to wriggle his way through. He does that expertly, which is the ball to the man Donny jersey number 4, who slips again. This slip has been happening for or against, and it's happening in Aba, not just in Turkey. Okechukwu success to John Emmanuel, who was more or less having a pedestrian-like movement. Abi Aliyu, beautifully done there, brings down the ball but still falls again. Haruna, jersey number 28, Gabriel Haruna. Julius, where he's caught offside. Better, I don't know what you think. Well, I think the game has lived up to his billing, but we are seeing slips and falls left, right, and center. It's not happening on the mountain top. It's not happening in the valley. It's happening in the field at the Elephant Park.
Well, that is because of the synthetic pitch that they're playing on. You know, sometimes when it rains, the synthetic pitch becomes slippery. So it's showered yesterday, and it's been showering moments in Aba. So it's because of the slippery pitch that they are slipping. And I'm sure that the boys have understood that, and also doing all they can to make sure that there are little margin for errors, because if you're not careful with this slip, you could just lose the ball in a vital area. And I'm sure the boys know this, they understand what is happening on the pitch, and also doing everything they can to make sure that they reduce the way they slip. And it's also really it's really interesting that we've not seen the ball in the net because of a slip in this encounter. But both sides have tried, and in subsequent games, the coaches would have to look at the boots that these players wear in order for and their studs as well, so that they'll be able to withstand the slippery nature of the synthetic pitch here.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we saw a scare initially, but then to the relief of Jaguar, it was called an offside. Okay, Emmanuel dispossessed. Supreme. Emmanuel shoots. It's in again and again and again and again. Make that 5 saves in this game. And so far so good. He has made the scoreline quite respectable for Jaguar. As much as they are trailing, it is not as scandalous as it was. Okay, Chukwu's success. Chance. Left hand channel, waiting for someone to come and help him, or maybe for the ball to go to the corner. It's out for a corner in favor of Jaguar, because the game plan of Ekechiku's success seems to have materialized. Chance for maybe Jaguar to get back into this one with an equalizer. Takes it long, but of course, Kintus catches with ease. Johnson dashing down there. Julius with him, but of course, the latter wins the ball. A throw for Jaguar. Of course, Supreme coming forward. Jersey number 4, Chineye. Well, the goalkeeper Tini Sunday comes off to save this team. I don't know about you, but my man of the match of this game seems to be Tini Sunday better.
Well, he's doing well. He's playing so well as a goalkeeper. You know, sometimes coaches like the super goalkeeper, and he's doing so well, coming out when it matters most to clear out his lines. We saw how he expertly denied Nwoko that opportunity to score, and it's something that his team were to be very proud of for what he has done coming into this game. He's been doing so well. In the first half, he had a very good game, and in this second half, he has continued from where he stopped in the first half too.
Well, of course, seems to be the second, but then beautifully done there. Anthony, with just the goalkeeper to beat, you saw that. That was madness in his highest octane. And of course, beautiful shift right there. We saw that man Nelson Ekelem Dilichukwa. We need to talk about him. He dribbles a lot, he hangs a lot on the ball. But then you can say, good one that his defenders, Gabriel Ekene, was on hand to ensure that that was not the second goal that Jaguar would have conceded.
That would have been a second goal, but Antonio Hamesi, the midfielder, he hesitated. He should have shot immediately he got that ball. But then you have to give credit to that defender who came to the rescue with 18 is on the ready position, expecting the worst. But then the worst didn't happen, and he was saved by his defender there. And Jaguar must watch it in their quest to get an equalizer in this encounter. They should not leave those spaces at the back. But Supreme Kings, should there be an equalizer in this game, they'll have that chance to rule that Antonio Hamesi had the chance to get his side a comfortable lead in this encounter. But then he somehow hesitated, and Jaguar came back into the game.
Well, The best of a comeback will be getting a goal. Just to let you know, Jaguar has no point as far as this Youth League is concerned whatsoever. They look up to the hills from where it commenced their help. When will they get a point? Where will they get maximum 3 points? Questions begging for answers as we see it in this Sunday. Well, that's out for a throw-in. 63 minutes of action in this game. And we can say that it's becoming an exceptional encounter. Koza, Anthony! Pressured. And he misses. Supreme seems to be on the ascendancy. But if we have to be honest, better. If you were the coach of Supreme, what would be going through your mind looking at the plethora of chances?
The left side of attack, and I feel that is why he's struggling. He's not really doing badly, but then he's not been able to put the ball at the back of the net, and the coaches will definitely be worried about this happening. But then they are leading the game now, and a 1-0 lead is dicey, and Jaguar may just come back to equalize, but then the coaches will definitely not be happy, but they will be thankful for this goal advantage they have now.
But of course, talking about the advantage, it is for Jaguar, but we saw that beautiful defensive work there from Gabriel. Beautifully done there to keep the ball off their lines. It's a contention in its highest octane between Jaguar and Supreme. Does well to dispossess both, and it's straight to 18 is Sunday. On hand again to save his team. Etini Sunday is back on his feet. Gabriel, Etini, Hassan. Well, in the box, of course. Chisom Carlo with the ball. Eze Johnson has not really been as imperious in the second half as we saw him in the first. Julius, they can heave a sigh of relief as they turn defense into attack. Takes it long, looking for Kechuku's success. That didn't get to him. John Emmanuel there too, but then Jaguar 3 to beat 4 decides to go long, but then to the hands of Quintus. Another opportunity for Jaguar. 5 to beat 4. Can they do it? Well, seems not to be in the DNA of the players, and Julius has lost the battle of wit with Johnson, Hassan Haruna, Julius on hand, and of course both Hassan and Johnson is down. The ref beckons to the medics to come to the aid of Johnson. course, Hassan Haruna, the captain of Jaguar, down on the turf. It's pristinely clear that both teams are tired. They've been aggressive from the first half. And looking at the time now, 68 minutes of action. Make that 69. It's quite understandable. They're young and, of course, they're playing in the hot sun.
It's quite understandable. The weather is quite hot, and the players have been playing in the sun. I expected by now we should have had a water break. A cooling break, as it were, for the boys, but then maybe that's not part of the game, or the coach, the referees are not thinking about that, or there was no provision for that. But I think that it should have been. It should have been. The boys are tired. And talking about Haruna, he has been doing a very good job in this game. He started as a defensive midfielder for his side before because of Imam Moses playing as centre back. But then with Franklin coming in to take the position of the defensive midfielder, he has now been drafted back to the centre back position, and it's really telling on him. He's been one of the most stand-up players for them. He's been stopping attacks, doing a lot of job for Jaguar, and he's human. It's just normal for him to need attention at some point, and I hope that it is nothing serious.
Of course, game has restarted. Jaguar with the ball. Jaguar. Okay, Emmanuel. Just number 36, Chibueze. To Okechukwu. John. Okay, Emmanuel. Success. Okay, Emmanuel. The man done in the jersey number 28, Gabriel. John. To okay, Emmanuel. Of course, AK Kingsley.
This guy who hold the ball and
Michael Quintus Sabeka Quintus, the goalkeeper, who has not really been called into action as often as we've seen 18 Sunday called into action in this game. Of course, Gabriel Kene, okay, Emmanuel. Jersey number 28, Gabriel. Of course, Ikechukwu Emmanuel. Beautifully done there. And it's the second for Supreme. And it's quite understandable because they've been asking all the questions in this second half, and the answers have been given. Quite disappointing with all the good work that Jaguar has done in midfield and in defense, but Ikechukwu Emmanuel finally, after missing plethora of chances, gets his second on the afternoon to the heave and side of the technical bench. At least they can say they are coasting home to victory.
Of course, they can say they're coasting home to victory. That's a defensive mistake there by Jaguar. That's talking about the defender Haruna Mohammed. He had the chance to play from the back, but then if you're not good playing from the back, you try to play from the back, you could just come back to hunt you, and that is exactly what happened. They were trying to play from the back, but Supreme Kings were well positioned to turn that quickly into a counter attack. And talking about Emmanuel, he scored a hat trick the last time. The last time, that last week actually, he scored a hat trick, and then he's been trying to get a goal in this encounter, but it has not worked. And this is just the right consolation that he needed. He's been trying so well. He has even missed an open net, and this one is just that tonic he needs to say, I've done so well in this encounter, and he's really doing well, and it's important for him to be able to at least get his name on the score sheet, and he has gotten it.
Well, of course, guys, 73 minutes on the clock. Where players down there on the top for Supreme Kings. Well, maybe if you try to analyze both games, the first game between these two sides where Jaguar were scandalously walloped by 6 goals to nothing, and this game, can say that they played better in this game other than what we saw in the first game. And of course, maybe on both games, Supreme are standing tall, but I would want to postulate the fact that if Jaguar had put in the shift we are seeing today in that first game, maybe they wouldn't have considered this.
Well, you never can tell. They've been trying so hard. They did so well in the first half. Despite conceding that first goal, they did so well too. They had a couple of chances, and this second half they've also had a chance to score, but then they've not made that right decision that they needed to do in the final third. And it's time for the coaches of Jaguar to at least make 1 or 2 changes. We've seen them make changes at centre back. We've seen them make one change, bringing in Alison Franklin in midfield, and they need to make changes in attack because they've not been coordinated in attack, and it's been a problem for them. They've tried to raise their game in midfield, trying to knock the ball around, but it's really not working for them. Maybe if Ekwunife Michael is fit, they could just bring him in to see if he could create chances for his side. But for the attack, they've not really done much to cover themselves in glory because they've not had most of the chances to shoot at Quintus in goal. Quintus has always been on holidays, and they need that creative spark for them to be able to get that chance to at least get a shot on target.
And of course, Jaguar with the ball in the half of Supreme. How will they react to this? It's imperative that they don't concede more. Throwing. Jaguar have the throw. Okay, Emmanuel to take the throw. Has Okechukwu success, and the man donning the jersey number 35, Bernard. Success with the ball. Dispossessed right there. Of course, the man donning the jersey number 14. Yes, Success coming forward for Jaguar. Breaks that attack straight to the midfield. John Emmanuel goes forward. Wayward and very unnecessary too. Of course, a change for Supreme. Jersey number 2, Simon Emmanuel and Young Elijah to come in for Ikechukwu Emmanuel, the goal scorer. 2 goals in this game for him, and of course Chineye, who has put in a good shift in this game. Of course, you can see the way the coach of the visiting side is happy with his players, patting them on the back. But the job is not yet done. 77 minutes of action, 30 more minutes to the end of this encounter. Save for added time. The man who just entered were dispossessed, and it is a throw into Jaguar. John to okay. To the man done in jersey number 25, Habilu Aliyu. Sends it to Julius. They go back, Hassan. No space right there, but then they're still with the ball. Jaguar in the half of Supreme Kings, who are some sorts have stepped the foot off the pedal. I mean, they are leading by 2 goals to nothing. What were you expecting? They're trying to calm things down and ensure that they don't concede at least. According to a very famous football sports journalist, he said 2-goal lead can be deceptive, but it can also be accepted and very much adored, because before you talk about winning a game, you have to score one, then score two, and then maybe make it three. Julius tries to wipe into the box, but of course, John Emmanuel not giving the leverage, the space whatsoever to shoot. Julius, well, surprisingly or unsurprisingly, he is marked offside. JC number 4 about to come in for Jaguar. Quinife Michael, the captain, and of course, JC number 41, Ibrahim Muhammad, to come in. The man done in the jersey number 3, Nelson. Off. Okay, Emmanuel straight into the box, and of course the defender was there. John tries to shoot. Haruna, Julius, it's a battle of some sort in the, but of course Johnson dashes down the left-hand channel, not giving any chance whatsoever, and then that boy is out for a goal kick in favor of ladies and gentlemen, 90 minutes on the clock, 3 minutes of additional time, 3 minutes for Jaguar to maybe get a goal in this game, or don't further concede whatsoever. Jaguar still coming forward. Okay, Emmanuel. Okay, Emmanuel. Ref says continue. Because Jaguar pushing, dispossessed Anthony, trying to dash down. Well, 1 to beat 2. Can you do that? Still with the ball. And of course, that was a criminal miss from Eze Johnson. Better let's talk about that. Anthony, 2 to beat 1, weaves his way through 3 defenders, ball straight to Eze Johnson, but of course, he doesn't just miss, he criminally misses. And just before you continue, Kurom Mesoma is about to come in for the man done in the JC number 10, Antonio Hamesi. Well, 92 minutes of action, 1 more minute to the end of the game. Better, of course, let's talk about that miss from Eze Johnson.
Well, that was a big miss from Johnson to be able to. He had the chance to score the third goal. He left the right wing position, and he's now playing from the left. And that was a big chance for him to tuck the ball at the back of the net. Just bend your body well and get the ball past the 18 is Sunday, who was already drawn to one side of the post, but then he couldn't get that in quickly, and he would definitely have to rule this missed effort from his side.
Of course, let's search from Jaguar, rather from Supreme. Julius saves his team at least so far, still with the ball, trying to push forward to see if they can get any late redemption, any late salvation, maybe a late revival? Will it come like that of Asusa? Okay, Emmanuel. Okay, Chuku success. Pathetic. A shot from Jaguars. Jersey number 41, Ibrahim Mohammed. And of course, we are looking at the clock ticking down. Seconds to the end of this game, ladies and gentlemen. And Suprema still plunging forward. Maybe let's care to ensure that they make it 3. And Hassan ensures that that doesn't happen. And maybe that will be the last kick of the game, ladies and gentlemen. It is as a Jaguar again and again and again tried, but just like the Israelites, all they could do is to cross the Red Sea. They couldn't make it to Canaan. Lost by 2-0 to Supreme Kings. Of course, I'm the sports pastor. They call me El Chijo. I'm from the Abbas Center covering the Air Youth League game involving Jaguar and Supreme Kings. That is it. At the end of 90 minutes plus additional time, it is a result and not a scoreline. Jaguar 2, or rather Supreme 2, Jaguar 0.